Hey guys, Brandon Gomez here, back again with another video, and welcome to part 4 of rating every confirmed 2023 NASCAR Cup Series paint scheme. This will be the final video in this series, as the season starts tomorrow. So, let's rate all the paint schemes that have been revealed since the previous video, and wrap this series up. As I've stated in my previous videos, some teams opted not to change their paint schemes for the 2023 season. So let's knock them out really fast. Chase Elliott's Universe paint scheme remains a 5 out of 10. Ryan Blaney's Blue Dust Menard scheme remains a 6 out of 10. And Christopher Bell's Sirius XM scheme remains a 7 out of 10. Now that we've got those knocked out, we can get the video started. First up, we have Austin Dillon's Andy's Frozen Custard paint scheme. Something different from the 3-team. They don't usually have bright and vibrant paint schemes like this. It looks good. The blue and the yellow go really well together. And I like how they have images in the blue of, I guess, they're supposed to represent the different products that they sell. I see an ice cream cone, some sort of beverage, like I guess a milkshake or something, and then something else in between the Andes logo and the ice cream cone. Can't tell what it is, but overall, decent scheme. I like it. 7 out of 10. Up next, we have Kevin Harvick's Busch 401k paint scheme. The paint schemes that Busch does for their promotions are usually really good, but this one's a dud. They just took Kevin Harvick's Busch primary, added blue on the rear for some reason, and then put images of Kevin Harvick on the side of the car. I don't like it. The added blue just ruins the scheme. But the images of Kevin Harvick on the side of the car, they bring the quality of the scheme up a bit. But overall, it's still a dud. 4 out of 10. Next, we have Corey LaJoie's Schluter Systems paint scheme. Simple design, but I don't like it that much. Honestly, a bit of a downgrade from last year's paint scheme. Last year's paint scheme had, I think, a camo base with orange designs, and this year's scheme is just a plain white base with an orange pattern on the roof and on the bottom of the car. If you ask me, the flame design that they ran in 2021 was a lot better than either of those schemes, and they ran it in the truck race last night. Don't know why they can't run it in the Cup Series. They should run it back, honestly. Overall, this paint scheme is mid. 5 out of 10. Next up, we have Chase Elliott's Lumar paint scheme. Big downgrade from last year's. I do not like it at all. Last year's scheme had a white to red color gradient going from the front to the back, and it looked really good. This year's is mostly white with a black roof and a flame design on the back with a yellow to orange to red color gradient. It does not look good at all. I do not like it. 3 out of 10. Next up, we have Denny Hamlin's FedEx 50th Anniversary paint scheme. All they did was take a white car, slap a FedEx 50 logo on it, make the side numbers gold, and put a purple and orange stripe on it. That's it. That's all they did. That's just lazy. If you want to celebrate the golden anniversary of your company with a special paint scheme, don't be lazy with it. What they should have done was bring back the classic colored FedEx schemes. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones that they did to promote their 4 services, I think. It was Freight, Express, Office, and Ground. They should have brought back those paint scheme, or that paint scheme, but instead of having the color of the service, make it gold. That would have been a way better paint scheme than this. They didn't even try. 0 out of 10. That was quite an outburst. Let's move on. Next up, we have Ryan Blaney's body armor paint scheme. This scheme has remained unchanged since 2021, and I like that Penske is keeping it simple with this one. Red all around the car with a little yellow stripe, and white to sandwich that. Simple design, simple scheme, gets the job done. 6 out of 10. Next up, we have Bubba Wallace's McDonald's paint scheme. What? What is this? Were they scrambling to complete the paint scheme before they had to reveal it, and then they just said, screw it, let's just run it how it is? It looks like garbage. Gray is not one of McDonald's colors. Their iconic colors are red and yellow. And they added gray for some reason. Big downgrade from the McDonald's schemes that they've run in the past. Just, what were they thinking when they made this paint scheme? Shame on you, 2311. Shame on you. 0 out of 10. This is crap. This is the second outburst I've had in this video. Don't let it be a trend. Anyway, next we have Zane Smith's WellCare and Better Health paint schemes. These are essentially the same scheme with different colors, so let's kill two birds with one stone and rate them at the same time. One is turquoise, the other is dark pink. Both are decent paint schemes, and I like the color choice on them. Both of these schemes get a 6 out of 10. Next up, we have Noah Gregson's Wendy's paint scheme. Big upgrade from last year's. I'm gonna be honest, at first I thought that last year's was better, but now that I've gotten to take a better look at this year's, I can safely and proudly say that this year's Wendy's scheme is far superior. I love how on the hood, it's just a picture of a burger with the beef in big text. I also love the checker pattern in front of the rear wheel, and look at the Wendy's girl. She's wearing a racing helmet. This paint scheme is beautiful. I love it. This is so much better than whatever the hell 2311 was doing with their McDonald's scheme. And the CMO of Wendy's actually threw shade at that scheme. So, even the CMO agrees that the McDonald's scheme is god-awful. So, another Wendy's W. Can't spell Wendy's without W. Anyway, great paint scheme. I love it a lot. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Eric Jones's Guns N' Roses paint scheme. This came completely out of left field. I was not expecting a classic rock band to come in and sponsor a NASCAR team. I was blown away when this announcement was made. This paint scheme, while it may be simple, is still pretty good. I like the roses that they have on the side of the car. What would have made this paint scheme better is if they added guns to the paint scheme. But I guess they just couldn't find any room to add them. Or they just opted to not put any on the car at all and just stick to the Guns N' Roses logo as the only gun on the car. Either way, still a decent scheme. 6 out of 10. Next up, we have Eric Jones's U.S. Air Force paint scheme. This is almost good. It's almost good. I like what they have going with the red nose and the blue stripes going on at the front of the car. But the rest of the scheme just doesn't do it for me. It could use more blue and just a little bit more red. They almost had it with this one, but not quite. 5 out of 10. Next up, we have Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s updated Kroger Cottonelle paint scheme. The previous iteration of this paint scheme was half blue, half white, and on the updated version, it looks like they added dark blue on the side of the car where the white used to be. I can't quite remember what rating I gave the previous one, but I'm pretty sure I gave it a low one because of the logo placement on the hood. But on this iteration, they fixed that problem by adding a Cottonelle logo on top of it. Though if you ask me, they should swap the two so that it looks better, because it still looks weird. But they at least solved the problem in a way. Whatever. Big upgrade from the previous iteration. I like it, even despite the whole logo hood placement. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have Connor Daly's Bit Nile paint scheme. Even though it's got a stupid crypto sponsor, the paint scheme's actually pretty good. I like how the golden brown at the front of the card disintegrates into the dark blue at the back. I like that design. Decent scheme. 7 out of 10. Next, we have Ty Gibbs' Monster Energy Interstate Batteries paint scheme. You guys already know how I feel about the Monster Energy scheme. I do not like it. It is way too bland. And the Interstate Battery scheme is beautiful. This is the Frankenstein creation that results when you try to merge the Monster Energy scheme with the Interstate Battery scheme. And it looks bad. The Monster Energy scheme could use a little more pizzazz. It could borrow some lightning from the Interstate Battery scheme. And in theory, merging the two would look great. But Joe Gibbs Racing executed it in the worst way possible. And it resulted in a bad paint scheme. But I'll still give them points for trying. They at least tried something new by merging them. 3 out of 10. Next up, we have Travis Pastrana's Black Rifle Coffee paint scheme. I like the American flag design it has on the top of the car, but whatever it has going around the side just doesn't look good. I'm not sure what that design is supposed to be, but it looks ugly. I do not like it. If the entire paint scheme was just the American flag design, it would look way better. But the entire scheme isn't the American flag design. It's got that ugly, I guess, flannel design going around the side. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. But, yeah, bad paint scheme. 0 out of 10. Next, we have BJ McLeod's Power Slap Rumble paint scheme. I like the black and blue design that they have going on there, but the addition of those two guys on the sides of the car just makes this scheme look weird. It brings the quality down. 5 out of 10. And for our final paint scheme, we have Daniel Suarez's Tootsie's paint scheme. I love it. They took last year's scheme and made it way more vibrant. It looks great. 10 out of 10. And with that, every confirmed 2023 NASCAR Cup Series paint scheme has been given its proper rating. What do you think? Do you think some of these should have been given a higher rating? Do you think some should have been given a lower rating? How would you rate these paint schemes? And since the 500's tomorrow, who are your picks for the 2023 Daytona 500? Let me know all that in the comments down below. If you want to see more of me, be sure to follow me on Instagram and join my Discord server. Links to both are in the description down below. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to my channel for more motorsports content. Thank you all so much for watching. That's it for me. Peace.